It's time for right versus left, or should I say fat versus thin. Fat being me and you, Bill. You've been on a weight loss journey.
I've lost 3 stone in the last year. So
yeah, and I've lost 3 stone. Well done. And you did a little bit of exercise this morning as well, didn't you?
I did. The road was closed and I had to walk 2 miles to get here. So it was good for me.
He's burning the fat off. But look, seriously, another... Well, I think madcap policy this week from the Labour Party is they're going to go around to people's houses, fat people's houses, give them a jab and then send them back to work, Suzanne. Surely this is madness.
I'm absolutely incensed by this. I mean, this idea, okay, so what's happened is the world's largest pharmaceutical company, Lilly, has come in and given the government the best part of £300 million to basically turn unemployed people into lab rats for this trial of weight loss drugs to see if it impacts worklessness and see if they have these jabs and overweight people go back to work. There's so many ethical issues here. One, there's the fact that the Labour Party thinks it's okay to try and force a jab on somebody who's unemployed and, in their opinion, overweight. The second thing is these weight loss jabs, they have so many serious side effects. And I mean serious side effects. They've been linked to 20 deaths at least in the UK. Permanent vision loss, kidney failure, gallbladder problems. It's terrible, really. They were meant for diabetic people, not people who were overweight. Yeah, as I say, so many ethical issues with this. Unemployed people being used as lab rats by this Labour government. Abject failure over the last 100 days.
No, you've lost 3 stone, 3 stone. Doing it naturally. Suzanne's got a point, surely.
Right, massively over the top. Right, nobody's being compelled to take part in a trial. We've got a huge obesity problem in this country. That impacts the health service, £11 billion a year. It impacts people in work. We lose productivity. This is a trial to see if it actually helps people to lose weight and keep them in work. And it's part of a partnership with the private sector, alongside using the private sector to clear the backlogs in the NHS.
It's not to keep them in work, though, but it's to get them back to work.
To get them back to work. And I think that's a good thing, because we've got too many people out of work. But, you know, the Daily Telegraph in its editorial yesterday actually praised this as a good, innovative scheme of the government working with the private sector.
That doesn't surprise me, because there is so much prejudice in society about people who are overweight. It's absolutely rampant. It's the last kind of taboo. It's the last thing that you're allowed to criticise somebody for. And it's pure and utter prejudice. None of us knows why people might be overweight, what problems they have, what genetic issues they have.
Genetics is a huge part.
It's a massive part. I mean, you very kindly made me the thin team. I don't consider myself to be, partly because, Lee, I have a fat disorder.
You know what,
and for years I struggled
There are
against
some people who are overweight that's at home, not working, and that may be because something's changed in their life. They may have lost somebody, had a relationship breakdown, you know, something awful's happened to them. They've turned to food. Some people turn to drink and other stuff. A weight loss jab doesn't solve that. It
doesn't. And the other thing about these weight loss jabs is they work in the sense that you absolutely will lose weight, but you also lose 50% of your muscle mass. You lose 50% fat, 50% muscle. So are they healthy? No. And I think it's so wrong to associate somebody that's overweight and look at somebody who's thin and say, well, the thin one's obviously the healthy one and the fatter one is the unhealthy one. That is so wrong.
But hold on, there's clear links between obesity. And look, I'm someone throughout my life who has had a weight problem, and I fully acknowledge it doesn't help you. It contributes to ill health. You know, it's £11 billion a year. Obesity is costing the National Health Service. So you need a multi-pronged approach. I think this can be an enabler, but it's certainly not a substitute for healthy eating.
But maybe then, Suzanne, we need to change the way the benefit system works as well, because if you are, you know, obese, and you can be rewarded with personal independence payment, you know, for your mobility and daily tasks.
But you know what, Lee? You could be an athlete all your life. You could get a sports injury, which means you can't walk again, and you also claim PIP. I mean, it's different forms of self-harm. There are all kinds of ways in which we harm ourselves in terms of health. Why just pick on fat people?
No, I don't think they will. And look, in my experience, the vast majority of people who are overweight, who are obese, want to lose weight. This, alongside lifestyle changes, might help them. And the government isn't imposing it. It's not forcing people. It's a 5-year trial involving 3,000 people to see what the benefits are in terms of losing weight and increasing your productivity.
Suzanne.
Imagine 5 years down the line, they say, oh yes, these people have lost all this weight. plus 50% of their muscle, and it's working. So, you don't take this drug, you're fat, you're lazy, we're going to remove your benefits.
And does it?
That's a real leap of imagination. I cannot imagine, certainly this government, cutting people's benefits off because they don't take a drug.
I couldn't imagine this government
they just stopped the winter fuel allowance.
Pensioners' winter fuel allowance, exactly.
Well, it's not. Look, do we run the risk, Suzanne, if people are on this weight loss drug for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, whatever it is, that they stay on it for life?
Well, I don't think you can stay on it for life. I think the side effects are so serious that you can't. You have to take it for a limited time. And as anyone who's ever been on a diet will tell you, when you stop doing the diet, you very often put all the weight back on.
But
and
Suzanne,
more. It's not going to work.
You can get this stuff off the internet anyway, can't you?
Well, you can get it through the NHS. And Suzanne, you keep talking about the side effects. Doctors prescribe this at the moment if you're type 2 diabetic or if you are clinically obese. They wouldn't be doing that within the medical protocols if there was this massive avalanche of side effects.
Come on, Bill, you're honestly saying that medicines have never been prescribed that haven't turned out to be dangerous in the longer term. There's a whole list of pharmaceutical companies that find billions because
then you can say that about any new drug that comes onto the market. You've got to do it proportionately and you've got to do it with safeguards. But I think that is being done. And I think this has got potential benefit.
We spoke earlier, Bill, before we started filming, about, back in the day when people had manual jobs. I worked down a pit. I've got nephews working on the roads now, digging up roads and laying water pipes. They're as thin as rakes. They're ripped, they're muscled. Surely that's the key. Get back to doing some physical jobs, which this government and the previous government, they seem intent on destroying our industrial base, manufacturing. We're a country that likes to make things where we are a nation traditionally of grafters, Suzanne, that go out and get their hands dirty and do some work.
Hold on, we've just launched an industrial strategy, which is absolutely about rebooting our manufacturing industries.
And we're just about to get rid of the steel industry at the same time.
No, we're doing everything we can to support it. But do you know what? Lifestyle changes when you're young is a key issue. And when I was growing up, I was out every day of the week playing football, playing cricket, playing rugby. Yeah. Kids today are stuck on their tablets at home, and it's not a good long-term trend.
Okay, so I've been having a bit of a go at you, Bill, but let me agree with you. I think the way we teach about nutrition and exercise in this country is completely wrong. When I was at school, a long, long time ago, I was taught home economics. I was taught how to cook a nutritious meal, about protein, about carbohydrates, about what you should and shouldn't eat, and I was taught to cook. And I loved it too. Children today don't get that. And of course, we've also had successive
When I said this in Parliament about 3 years ago, I got in big trouble. I said basically that three generations now in, from these 80s and 90s, they've not passed the cooking skills on to their children and their grandchildren. But I got in big trouble.
No,
massive trouble.
But, people need to be supported and helped to cook properly and to have a healthy lifestyle. But they also need to physically exercise.
Tried that one.
And I think that's a real problem amongst young people today.
Fascinating discussion, Suzanne. We're going to move on because it's time for the quiz of the week. It's a yes-no quiz. We have Stephen Pound on the show regularly. I think he's won it once now at about 25 attempts. I'm expecting big things from you, Bill, on this
I've run it before.
So you know the rules, Suzanne. It's yes or no. No verbal ticks allowed. No hesitation. It's got to be a strong yes or no. Okay. Bill, will the Labour Party stop the illegal migrant crisis?
Yes.
Suzanne?
No.
Suzanne, is the jab for jobs the right policy?
No.
Bill?
Yes.
Bill, are you looking forward to this month's budget?
Yes.
I'm going to say no before you even ask me.
I can't give you that, you see.
You can't. Have I lost the point now?
There's about 7 words there, Suzanne.
Sorry, it's definitely a no, though.
I'm sorry. You're not paying attention. Back to you, Suzanne. Oh. You could claw it back. Is there a 2-tier policing in the UK?
Yes.
No.
God, I'm furious. The Labour man's going to win. Bill, will Sir Keir Starmer last a full term?
Yes.
There's a tick. There was definitely a tick there, weren't there? You see that?
I was going to say emphatically.
Yeah, I can't give you that, Bill. Suzanne, it's a yes or no?
No.
It's a draw.
In your dreams.
It's a draw. Well, you say that, but so many Labour people I've spoken to have said he won't last the term. I thought he would.
Do you think he will, Bill?
In fact, I think you've asked me that
absolutely
before,
will. You know, there's a long way to go. Once we start really delivering house building, you know, a real living wage, getting the economy moving, and the budget is key to that. Absolutely.
So you say you wasn't looking forward to the budget?
No, I'm not. And of course, neither are most people. I write a newsletter about business every day, and it's astonishing. Every day there's an individual or a company or an organisation that's saying, that, please, Rachel Reeves, don't do this.
Yeah, but there's so much kite flying going on, you know, from every source. And, you know, the reality is, and I've learnt this through successive budgets, wait until it's delivered to see what it actually does.
So far, they've been quite cynical. I think he's... should give him more credit, Sir Keir Starmer, because I think he's rewarding people, a certain section of people that he thinks will vote for him if he gives them that, you know, like a backhander, which he has done to the unions, Bill.
Come on, it was about, you know, we were losing hundreds, if not thousands of days due to strikes. We had to get the country working again.
It's not work though, is it? The Underground are going on strike next month.
Yeah.
Well, you know, look at the National Health Service, where we're actually properly treating people because, the RCN and others.
Right, guys, that's it. I'm sorry, Bill. You was there. You was storming ahead, but that verbal tick right at the end, that cost you, and it's a draw. So thanks, guys.
A score draw.